right, I have returned. I think the build is still going. I noticed that it looks like we're compiling all of the binaries. We are only copying one of like one of the Lambda functions or what have you into the Docker image. But it makes me wonder. So if I do cargo build dash help, can we tell it to just build one of the like subcrates? Like how is it working? So like if we look in AI chat Lambda at the Docker file, so we have a bunch of stuff here, courtesy of course of Brainless Society, who provided kind of the base template for this Docker file that I've been using and abusing for like a year at this point. So we do cargo build release. Workday.ir app. So I think we're doing this in the context of here. Let's look at there's a shell script push image. This is what the VS Code task is running, and what it's doing is yes. So it's running Docker build from Glowing Telegram, and it's telling it to use the Docker file in one of the subdirectories. So that does mean that like when we're referring to /app, because we copy basically all of Glowing Telegram into app, and do cargo build release, it is building, I guess, all of the subcrates. Is there a way to build only this packages library, build all binaries, only the specified? So -- bin name. So we would be building what, AI chat Lambda? Hey Brainless, good morning. Although I think you're a few hours ahead of me, so maybe good afternoon. Good morning to me. Well, thank you. 2 p.m. Yes. You know, it's funny. I know someone who recently went on vacation to Chile, and thinking about, I don't know. It's so maps are misleading in various ways, but I suppose, and this is not a map's fault. This is like a conception of like the Pacific. And kind of like, you know, as someone who lives adjacent to the Pacific Ocean, thinking about other places in the Americas that are along the Pacific, falling into the trap of thinking that they are vertically aligned, well, that's incorrect. Yes, so. Okay, so that seemed like maybe that was faster. Maybe the Docker files should do that. When we do this, so like -- bin, like this. That seems good. Maybe I'll do that in every single one. At some point, maybe I shouldn't. Is there a way? I mean, no, because the Docker files are going to be. They are going to be different. Like they're going to have different things that they need. Like some need FFmpeg and some don't. Yeah, multi-stage would be ideal. I mean, these are multi-stage. It's just like right now, each one of these. Oh, stage app 1, stage app 2, and then build target app 1. Yeah, so like have one Docker file and have a stage for each service if they share a base. I think mostly yes. I mean, the thing is like when we're doing all the chef stuff, we're doing that on the basis of the dependencies of the main crate. And they're all just based off of the Rust base image until we get to the runtime. And the runtime is going to be Debian. And there will be differences there. Then yes, would be a better single doc file. And then I guess the question is going to be, yeah. So then at the end of this, would this be like the last thing would be like runtime render job? And then there would be another stage that would be like runtime AI chat, Lambda, audio transcriber, like that. How do you go from that to then like pushing those separate things to, I mean, I guess they're just, Alternatively, but not my preferred choice, 2 Docker files, one for the core and one for individual ones, require building the core if you have changes. Yes. That was what I was trying to avoid, having like a multi-stage thing. Although I was looking at something in the Docker docs, a thing inside of, what's it called? BuildX? Bake? But anyway, so and now Docker build is the legacy builder. Is it true? Or is now when I'm doing Docker build, it's really doing this? I don't know. I don't know anymore. Is that text even visible on stream? Yeah, my recommendation would be single dot file, create the core stage, apps build from core as individual stages. So then when you have those individual stages, how do you tag the individuals? I guess you can. Just tag. Let's do this. I don't know. It's not a thing I need to do right now. And it's going to be kind of a target. Really? Set the target build. Oh, I see. So you have multiple target stages in one Docker file. And it's when you do build, you say target this target. This stage. Interesting. Yeah. Okay. So that's an option. Okay. So let's put a pin in that. I'm gonna add that to the list of things to do. Combine Docker files into a single one using multiple target stages. There we go. Let me put a link, that link that I copied into the ticket. And hey, we'll get to that soon. But, well, let me just do this because I'm already doing it. Oh, no. Okay, there we go. There we go. And at least with Copilot, you know, it is it's pretty good, right? It knows. It can see the pattern, even across files. All right. So anyway, I think in the meantime, while I've been messing around with that, the build did finish, and we pushed it up to the Lambda. So if I look at the Lambda now, we'll see it was just updated a few minutes ago. 8 minutes ago. Okay. So now, in the front end, please, this will work. All right, so if I click the chat button, click start, fingers crossed, it's thinking. I think the request is still going. Yes. And then we got a response. And so the response will be JSON, and it'll be this title and description. So it thinks that based on the section of the transcript for this episode, a good title would be Migrating Data from Postgres to DynamoDB with Python for a Glowing Telegram Project. So this is from the stream on the 12th of December. This is how big of a backlog I have right now of getting videos out to YouTube. So if I say, if I use this message, then bam, it populates the description field and title field. I do want this episode number here. I'm surprised that fits within the limit of the title, but apparently it does. Oh, it's because I'm zoomed in. It's bigger than you know normally. Oh yeah, so that. All right. Anyway, so is this a good description? I dive into backend development, glowing Telegram, focus on migrating data from Postgres to DynamoDB using Python. We explore the creation of a Python script to perform reliable one-way data synchronization, migration goals, setting DynamoDB and data structure design, Python scripting, PsychoPG2, Boto 3, modifying existing code. Yeah, and then some links that might actually even be valid. It's not impossible that these are hallucinations, right? But hey, it goes to places. I mean, it is, I mean, that's not really a documentation link. It's not as if, I don't think that YouTube does markdown for descriptions like this. So this is fun. So I'm just gonna remove this. And then the thing that this is missing is that what I had been doing, I need to figure out how to teach it how to do, is to put, let's see, let's go here so I can view episodes and then find an existing episode. Here we go. That's what's missing. All right. Behold, AI generated video summarization. So I'll save that. So, like I said earlier in the stream, one of the things I did was I did do a test episode with, let's see if I keep on going back, will I eventually land on the page where, nope. Okay, so I said it was the 12th, right? This one? So I did actually test the render job to render out the first episode from the stream. And I guess the next thing to do is probably let's create the other two. So I've already created the first one. 5613. It's really interesting. I could have sworn that this had worked before, playing the video, but now it doesn't. It's very odd. Let's can I look at the network activity? Let's refresh this. I mean, we're already troubleshooting things. Let's keep on troubleshooting. Yeah, if I save this file, I've been here before. If I save this file and we don't have that on stream, and I open this in VS Code and not in VLC. Yeah, okay, so it's empty. That makes sense. Why is it empty? Well, this stream why is it empty? Well, let's go look at DynamoDB. Look at the database. Because that should mean that there are no like the video metadata isn't linked to that episode. Like, so if we look at the metadata table, explore items, and we query based on the stream ID, we run, yeah, there are 10 things. So we have this, which means that our Lambda that's responsible for generating the M3U8 playlist should work. So what that means is that I thought this is the one that I invalidated. Hey, Marksy. 15 months.
Trixie just subscribed for 15 months.
Thanks for the resub. How's it going? So if I look at CloudFront, I thought this was the location that I had invalidated in the media distribution. Okay, so now that one. Is this one that I invalidated before? Because that is a thing. If I've previously went to the editor page when I had when I had not had, okay, so let's do an invalidation. I did do a thing where okay, so playlist / and the stream ID and then M3U8. Copy to new. There we go. I did make a thing now where when you ingest the stream and it generates the rendered HLS MPEG-2 sections and does all the stuff, that it pushes an invalidation to CloudFront so that the playlist isn't cached. So we'll see. And then Marksy is saying this has come a very long way. Yes, it's been like essentially a total rewrite as well in the middle, which is the thing that it's kind of like it was necessary. It was necessary to be able to have something that could be like hosted out on the internet without being abused. Have to have like user accounts and API security and all of those things. So if I go back to here, will this work now? Is the issue just that the playlist was cached in CloudFront? Maybe not. I really thought that was going to fix it. 264? 264? Why? What's broken now? Let's find out. I thought I just fixed this. So here's where we're downloading the playlist. Yeah, it's still 113 bytes. So whatever's happening there is not CloudFront caching. Debugging alpha, yeah, super fun, right? Okay, so it's not there. So this URL, like if we look at the CloudFront origins, so everything that's not in the transcode path is going to this Lambda. So like all the transcoded video is being served out of a S3 bucket, and then everything else is going to this function URL. So what's going on with the function? I wish maybe I can navigate if I edit. No, I still can't like click a thing to get to the Lambda, so we'll go find it. Let's see. It is the... Is it this? Yeah, I think it's this media serve playlist Lambda. Last modified a week ago. If we look... I mean, it can't be failing because we are getting a response back. It's just one that didn't find any items. So why? I mean, we can look at the logs. I suspect there's not going to be anything really good there. Found credentials and environment variables. Sure. Yeah, this is... The Lambda is run in the context of, or the code rather, the Python code that's running is running in the context of the Lambda, so the Lambda provides the environment, like credentials for it to be able to know how to talk to AWS. So anyway, so let's hide all of this. And is it in media serve construct? Yes. Here's our playlist Lambda. And it's called Media Lambda. So Media Lambda main.py. So we have some Python code. And so what it's supposed to do is... it's a bot. Goodbye, bot. Alright. Anyway. Okay. One track that's randomly kind of low, kind of quiet. Anyway. Hey,
_dev just follow.
Thanks for the follow. Right, so we have this Python Lambda that is looking at the event. It's looking at the raw path. It's getting what is going to be the stream ID from the path. Throws an error if it's not there, and then we are querying DynamoDB. Hopefully, yeah. So we're using that index, and we are looking for. We're looking for records in the video metadata table where it has the stream ID, right? So it's finding all of the video segments from this stream, and then if we had been looping around, it will already have a start key, and so we'll add that to the query args. It'll do the query to Dynamo. It will accumulate records it finds. If there was a last evaluate key in the response, it sets start key to that. Otherwise, it breaks out of the loop. And then we sort, and then we transform that into our M3U8 playlist, and we return that. So let's troubleshoot. I mean, I don't see anything wrong with this, and I have seen this working before, although I'm pretty sure I have changed this recently. I might have broken it. Do we see how I have broken it? like specifically in the example, like in the output that we saw, there was a header and footer, but maybe there weren't lines. Sorted does return the sorted list. Yes, okay. Let's do this. Let's print. Oh, there we go. Copilot was going to do it for me. So we'll just get the length of the stream video records array that we're accumulating into. Extend is, yeah, it mutates the existing list, right? Yes. It's implied because it returns none. And let's also debug how many lines we're about to, yeah, sure. You can have a comment. Print found this many segments. Print. I don't want to dump the whole text. I'll do that. And then let's push this Lambda. So the question then becomes, I mean, I guess even this Lambda, we could have a stage, a target stage in our one Docker file that wouldn't pull in any, like it wouldn't pull in any of the Rust stuff, right? I'm assuming it's the case. Like this is not a multi-stage Docker file at present, but like in a multi-stage Docker file, like if you were to look at, I don't know, CRUD API, if you target final in this case, but final doesn't refer to some of the intermediate stages, then those stages aren't even run, right? So like if you have a silica graph of stages, your targeted stage for your Docker build may it doesn't have to be fully connected. Anyway, random thoughts as I wait for builds to happen. So then our Lambda, let's refresh and make sure it's running or it's updated. They're pretty fast, but there is a time between when you push a Docker image. So one thing, you can definitely push the Docker image to ECR and not have it affect the Lambda. That's why in my little shell script, one of the things we do is we push, we update the Lambda function. It's just an update, but it's not changing anything, but that triggers Lambda to be like, let me get the latest version of the image, because we're targeting latest currently. Maybe at some point I'll have like versions and we can version things that way. I don't know. That's something to think about, like in an architecture where you have lambdas or other things, right? Tied to, like we have an API. How do you deploy changes to the API in such a way that stuff underway doesn't get broken? Especially when you are changing multiple things and those are interdependent changes. Like if I were to have, like I'm not doing releases for this. I'm just pushing changes whenever because it's just for me. But if I had a prod app, right? And I have a couple of API endpoints and I have a database and I want to do a release, and in that release, I'm changing the database schema. I have some code changes. Well, hopefully the code changes work, whether or not the database changes there. Like they can support either thing, or then you have to think about coordinating order the things. Anyway, things to think about every time you're like, every time you're planning to release something. All right, so what should have happened? Well, let's see. If we go back here, let me grab this URL. I just copy the URL. Yeah. Let's go over here. Can we just like curl -o this? Isn't it? Or is it not supposed to have a space? Or am I thinking of wget? What if I just do this? It's thinking. It's empty. Is it empty? Well, I mean, I guess that's good in the sense that the only changes I made to the Lambda were to add logging. So if adding logging fixed it, that would be annoying. 2, we don't actually know that ran the Lambda because we have CloudFront in between. So if I look at the monitor, did it just run? Probably, I mean, I can look here. So the last instance that I see here was 12 minutes ago. It does take a minute or two potentially for runs to show up here, so we might not see it yet. It would definitely be in the logs. So let's go back to the log group. Do we have a log stream from like right now? Yes. Okay. So we can see that yes, the Lambda did run. Found 0 video records, found 0 segments, and the length was 113 characters or bytes or code points or something. So why? Why is it not finding anything? If transcode in item. So projection expression does have transcode. So potentially the items weren't transcoded, which is weird. I thought this was something that I had looked at before, but maybe the process isn't run on this stream yet. Let's go back to Dynamo and check to see whether or not that key is present. So if we go to tables, I mean, that would be fitting though. If the issue is really just that this was not the right stream. So like when we look at this, there is not a transcode key. Okay. So let's look. Maybe we'll find a different example. Maybe the issue is me. So can you, let's just look at the whole thing. Yeah, that's what I intended to do. Now look at the off the index. So something here. Okay, so like if we look at this record. Oh, that's fun. Okay. So this was transcoded, but it's not been tied to a stream yet. Right. Okay, so let's do some filtering. So we're looking for stream ID, and we just want to say it exists. So we're looking for records that have a stream ID, and I could have, let's also say that have a transcode. So these would be video segments that have gone through the ingestion process and have been both tied to a stream. So here's one from the 8th, this stream. Okay, so if I go to here, this works. Okay, so this is what it's supposed to look like. And there's still a lot more to be done with the video editor. Like we have the clip silences thing, which is interesting. Like I would like to, and there's an item on the backlog to be able to hover over the timeline and see the timestamp here, not just here. The reason there are these two timelines is because this one is for like controlling the playback of the video, which moves the playhead, which is this green line. And then interacting with this line is supposed to be about selecting things, changing these selections, and then actually having these selections reflected on this timeline as well, with maybe like a marker underneath with highlighted regions, is a thing. It feels like there's still a bug here. It looks like we have selected like this region and this region, but not this one. So that's probably a bug. But anyway, let's stop that for now. And the whole point was to fix the episode description generation, and I think we've done that, amongst other things. So let's get that going. Okay, so what have we changed? We didn't change anything in the front end. We didn't change anything in the video editor. It's just in the kind of the back end repo. We did a bunch of stuff. That's the acknowledged. Remember back at the beginning of the stream where I did that CDK acknowledge thing? That's what this does. It updates the CDK context so that you stop seeing that message that, hey, things have changed. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do in order to keep track of stuff is I'm going to convert this into an issue. So we'll get an issue number. Looks like that was like 381. And then if I look in this, we'll see 381. So we say, hey, we're going to work on this. And then that will automatically put me on a branch. And then I want to just construct some commits. It doesn't know what to do about this change. Let's do what was this? I'm gonna call this Shore CDK. Acknowledge the Shore. Acknowledge that. Okay, there we go. And then I have a bunch of changes here to the Docker files. I will go ahead and commit them. The intent is going to be to refactor this into one Docker file, like brainless adjusted earlier. So we will do that in a future branch. So I think these are all the same thing, which should, in the short term, at least make the individual builds faster. Okay, and then let's see if Copilot can generate a commit message for us. Specify binary name for, yep, okay, that looks good. And then what else did we change? So in API.ts, we fixed the ARN. This was the first issue that we found with the AI chat endpoint, was that we were passing the wrong environment variable. Yep. And then what was wrong here? So here, this did, I mean, you could definitely invoke the Lambda the way this was before, but it didn't work when invoked from API gateway. So this converted this over to use Axum. Let's see what Copilot makes of this. Feature API, refactor chat handler to use Axum and improve error handling. Yes. When we're doing that, we also need what's in the cargo toml. These are all of the dependencies we need, so I'll include that in the commit. We'll commit that. And then main.py, I just added some debugging here. Might as well just include that. And then what did I do here? Oh yeah, I sorted. Let's see if it reorganized. Yes. sort is really. So it didn't get that this was a sorting. Okay. All right, we'll publish that branch. We'll get that merged, and we'll be able to move on to other things. Someday I will update Tailwind. It's on the short list, as in the do next list. WebAuth then, I don't know. Someday. Why is this not merged? Oh, it is merged. Okay, UI is just out of date. Okay, so fixes number 381. Fix episode description AI generation feature. And I'll go ahead and have that Copilot review. Sometimes it finds good things. Okay. And so then what are we working on next? We can work on video fix YouTube video uploading, which is to say re-implement it. Excuse me. Use the new step function variables in stream ingestion. So I did look into variables, which is a fairly new thing with regards to AWS step functions, which we're using. That is a thing that should, I suspect, will make the UI more responsive. We have a lot of like state data that's like getting repropagated, and so it slows down the UI. But I don't know that it's really super important to do right now. I'm gonna push that down. I don't know that I'm really ready to take on doing this quite yet. Let's think about this. So there's a lot of, I'm not sure how I want to do this because we have some constraints in how this needs to work. So the previous implementation of this, we had a queuing solution using Redis. And that worked in two parts. So we had a persistent queue. So it was just a list of things to handle. And then we had a notification channel. I forget how, like some kind of hub sub thing. So like push, hey, this thing exists. And so it was something, is that how it worked? It was definitely a list, like a first in, first out list, or it was two of them, because there was like the things to do and then the actively being processed, something like that. But the idea was it was essentially a persistent queue, right? So thinking about like how we would do this with AWS services, there is a queuing service in AWS called SQS, Simple Queue Service. It has some limitations. It's really nice for a lot of general purpose queuing. The way it works, but it has some nuance. Like a lot of these kind of the older, more foundational AWS services, they're designed in a way that's really scalable, but that means that you need to think a little bit about how you use them and implications. So it's not a persistent queue, right? So you can have items submitted to the queue and it can be around for like up to 2 weeks, which is a good amount of time, and also maybe not. So if we use something like that, it gets kind of complicated, because then we have to be like, okay, well, we can just put the thing back onto the queue. Like, it's not really necessarily a good fit, right? Because an SQS queue is more of a like, put a bunch of stuff in and have workers that are processing things simultaneously. But in this use case, This is going to be, we have a bunch of episodes we want to upload, and it doesn't make sense unless there's an actual error, like a limitation on rate limit or quota is not an error, right? We just want to put the message back on the queue, and we don't want to do anything for a period of time. So maybe this isn't the best fit. Maybe instead what I should do, we already have a DynamoDB table that has the episodes table. So I could have an index of things to be rendered, like a way of querying what are the episodes to be rendered. And I guess I could do that in a way in which it would be like the flag for rendering would be the timestamp of when the render was requested, or something that's ordered. And then I would essentially use the DynamoDB table as a queue, which would be very persistent, and would just stay there, and I could just look for what's the next record, sorting in, if it's like an ISO 8601 timestamp, then I'm sorting, I want the oldest record, right? So I'm sorting from in ascending order, and I'm saying give me the next record. And this has to be a process that is how does it work? I don't know. Let's think about that. I guess the question is this something, how are we doing on time? Okay. Maybe this is something I can do now. We can at least give it a shot. Maybe I can sketch something out. Yeah, let's do that. So there's a couple of things in play, actually. I have a diagramming tool. Maybe I should use that. So a couple things in play. So we have, we need some kind of job that's going to upload a file, upload a video to YouTube, right? So the thing with this is this may take some time, right? So this, let me zoom in. There we go. This might take some time. This might be like, it could be 5 minutes, it could be 15 minutes, it could be 50 minutes, depending. The point being, it's going to be something that's reliably going to be multiple minutes or more. And that or more, or the fact that we're talking already in the scale of minutes, means that Lambda is not a good fit for doing that work. And we already have something that we're using that would be a better fit for kind of a undefined how long it will take, up to an hour, or even further, but probably not further than that. And we can talk about timeouts and stuff, which is AWS Batch, right? So we can use a Fargate, no need to provision a server container, or we could spin up a spot instance. I don't think that'll be necessary. And then likely this will take a single video and upload it. A thing that we will want to know about is, let me use this, status of quotas. API quotas, right? So that's something I'm not completely clear on, is like this job will need to run, and we'll need to know what the status of our API quotas are in order to know when we can run the job again for the next video. Or did it fail? Did it succeed? So something to think about. And then we need some kind of orchestration that is going to it's going to go and look at something to coordinate uploads and obey quotas, right? And we have something that kind of fits in that, which is using a step function, right? Something that can run, can submit a job. and can potentially, I don't know where we'd store this. This might be something where let's have another thing here. So maybe these rounded rectangles represent like aspects of a record, right? So we have the episode record, which contains the location in S3 of the video. It contains potentially other pieces of information, right? So like video, let's say URI, URL, sure. It contains upload priority, essentially. If we're thinking of like the episode record and the table of episodes, it's effectively being a queue, then it has an upload priority, that timestamp that we would be querying for. So then maybe these things are overlapped, like we can just stuff like the YouTube video upload job is going to need to know, like, this will probably send the episode ID. Let me get an arrow. Right, so this will probably send the episode ID when it's submitting the job. And so then maybe what this is doing here, hold on, I can draw arrows more effectively like this. Can I also have straight arrows? Yeah. By default. So then this is going to be, we could, here's the thing, right? So the coordinator over on the left is going to find the next episode ID, submit the job, and then it already knows the episode ID of the thing it submitted, and the step function will be able to wait until the job completes. There is not a way for the step in the step function to get information back other than, was the job eventually successful, right? It can know that, but there's not like a data return built into that function. But what we can do is we can say send back status of API quotas into the episode record. Now, is this a good idea? Maybe not. Or where else could we stash it? I mean, we could make another DynamoDB table to put that in. Yeah, maybe we do that. Like, we're already stuffing a lot of information into the episode record, and this is kind of ephemeral information. This is information that we're only going to need for a short period of time. Maybe having the let's change this to a double arrow. Can I do that? Yes. No. Maybe. Oh, it's over. Is it over here? Yeah. There we go. Constant, like, this is representing the idea that, like, this is going to retrieve the episode record to get that video URL. And we probably also want to add a flag in the episode record of, like, I think it's called is published. Right, that we'll want to update in the record once this is done. Does it have to do that? No, we could probably have the coordinator doing that. Actually. Beautiful. It's a beautiful graph, isn't it? Okay, well, somehow an hour has gone by. Did our PR get merged? No, because I probably didn't set it to auto merge. Did Copilot come back with reviews? Yeah, I'm fine with it being a panic. we're doing that elsewhere. We could change it, but I'm not going to change it for just one. So we'll go ahead and merge that. And all right, so get over there. I think what we're gonna do after the break is we're gonna start working on YouTube video uploading and starting to build out the infrastructure to manage doing that. So I'll be back in a couple of minutes and we'll start working on this. So